Ford was so interested in having a united party, he brought Reagan down to the convention floor, gave a speech to the delegates, and after Reagan finished speaking, 4 delegates all over the hall turned to each other and said, "We just nominated the wrong man." Well, that fall, Ford lost. The Republicans had 2-to-1 minorities in Congress. The Republican Party was devastated. Reagan gave a speech to his former aides, because he was already planning to run for president again. And he reminded them of a ballad by Dryden that he learned as a child. I am vanquished, but I am not slain. I shall rise to fight again." And he reminded them that if they actually believed that conservative principles worked, and liberal principles were flawed and didn't work, if they actually believed that, there's a political corollary to that. If liberal principles don't work, if they're applied, they will fail. And if they fail, that failure will eventually be visible. And if it's eventually visible, voters will respond to that, and they will turn against it. And isn't that the story of Jimmy Carter's presidency? Reagan said, look, there's the old story of the scorpion and the horse on the riverbank. The horse is preparing to cross the river. The scorpion says to him, "Can I cross the river with you?" And the horse says, "I'm not stupid, you're a scorpion, you'll sting me." The scorpion says, "Well, I wouldn't do that. If I sting you while we're crossing the river, I'll die too. I'll drown." So the horse says, "Come on board." They're crossing the river, the scorpion stings the horse. As the horse is dying, he looks up at the scorpion and says, "Why did you do that?" The scorpion says, "Well, it's in my nature. I had to do it. I'm a scorpion." Well, that's what a liberal is like. Liberals can't help but be liberal. Look at Nancy Pelosi. They can't help themselves. They campaign against earmarks, and last week, Nancy Pelosi's major legislative agenda was if a spouse couldn't accompany a member on a congressionally funded foreign junket, the children should be allowed to go. I mean, I cannot believe these people. They can't help themselves. And of course, then you have the famous card check bill, which is sure to be vetoed, to take away the secret ballot for union elections. It's going to go down to a sure defeat in the Senate, and if not the Senate, a presidential veto, but they've been ordered to do it, and they're going to do it. They can't help but overreact and govern as liberals. I can assure you, Reagan knew that in '76, and of course in 1980, the great Republican sweep. In 1992, Republicans got 37% of the vote for president when George Bush was running for re-election. 37%, partly because of Ross Perot's candidacy. Ross Perot got 19%. That was before people figured out his tray table wasn't its full upright and locked position. That was about as low as you could get in the presidential election. Reagan gave a speech. This was before Alzheimer's had caught up with him. He gave a speech to his former aides at a reunion, and he said, "Well, you know, my vice president, George Bush, made a terrible mistake. He said no new taxes, and he raised them. And people will forgive a lot, but they won't forgive a politician breaking a promise that easily, or that dramatically." But Reagan said, they will govern as liberals, mark my words. And within the next few months, gays in the military, the largest tax increase in American history, Hillary's health care plan in 1994 occurred. The pendulum swings is what I'm saying. And you may be down now, and frankly in Illinois, the Republican Party in Illinois deserved to go down. I have to tell you, and I know I'm speaking out of school and out of turn, in retrospect, historically, boy, the voters would have done you a great favor if they elected Congressman Costello in 1998, wouldn't they? So sometimes you're fated to get a wake-up call, and sometimes you don't listen to the wake-up call. Well, frankly, the wake-up call is so loud now you got to listen to it. And of course, the Democrats will eventually overreach. I understand Governor Blagojevich already is, and you've already beat back his grocery fees tax, which shows you as a demonstration that they've overreached because you were able to beat it back with him having both houses of the legislature. My final point is simply this. You may be down, but every swing of the pendulum is just waiting for the pendulum swings far enough so that it ultimately will swing back in your direction. That's what you have to prepare for. Politics is not just about winning or losing. It's about timing. It's about figuring out what part of the pendulum you're at and learning the lessons from when the pendulum swings against you and be ready to seize the opportunity when the pendulum swings your way. Thank you.